The NHL added 2 additional franchises in 1992 as the Ottawa Senators and the Tampa Bay Lightning joined the league that fall. Do not confuse the Ottawa Senators with the old Ottawa Senators who folded in the early 1900s. This was an additional new franchise. This brought the league to 24 additional teams, again the highest in the league's history. There were many more teams on the way in the coming years to now when the NHL is just about to add their additional 32nd franchise, the Seattle Unknown franchise at this date, in the 2021-22 NHL season.
The NHL went through another big expansion phase in the 90s, and by the year of 2000, they were up to 30 franchises. During this time period, the NHL added a team back to the Bay Area once again with the San Jose Sharks, and a year later re-adding the Ottawa Senators and their first ever team in Florida, the Tampa Bay Lightning. A year later, the NHL added Disney's first and only ever major professional sports franchise, the Mighty Ducks of Anaheim, who were later bought out and renamed to the Anaheim Ducks. Their second and final team to hit the Florida market were the Florida Panthers, who played in Miami. The league didn't give up yet, however, as the 27th franchise was granted to Music City, and the Nashville Predators became the next team to skate in the league. The NHL didn't give up in Georgia, however, as the biggest city, Atlanta, was given a second try, as in 1980 the Atlanta Flames relocated to Calgary. Atlanta was awarded the 28th franchise, named the Atlanta Thrashers. Who didn't last very long and became the newest version of the Winnipeg Jets. The Winnipeg Jets were a second version of the original team, who relocated to Arizona to become the Phoenix and later the Arizona Coyotes. To learn more, watch Puck Drop's History of the NHL, Episode 3, where we briefly mention and discuss the namesake of the Winnipeg Jets, the Ottawa Senators, and other early franchise additions and relocations.
In 2000, 2 more teams were added as the league gave a team back to Minnesota with the Wild and decided to make their move into Ohio's capital city, Columbus, with the addition of the Blue Jackets. The NHL also moved many teams during the 1990s, as the Minnesota North Stars went south in 1993 to Dallas and changed their name to the Stars to represent their home state, Texas. In 1995, the Quebec Nordiques were next in line for relocation, as the NHL decided to retry the Denver market with the Colorado Avalanche, the second team in Denver after the Rockies hockey franchise moved to New Jersey in 1982 to become the New Jersey Devils. The Hartford Whalers were last on the chopping block as they moved down south to the Carolinas to become the Carolina Hurricanes.
Something important on this channel to mention during this time period was the huge success of the New Jersey Devils, winning 3 Stanley Cups from 1995 to 2003. First cup the Devils won by using Jacques Lemaire's famous neutral zone trap, which is a very defensive-oriented style of play which was often criticized by the media and fans as being extremely boring. But it most definitely worked, so us sad Devils fans didn't care.
In 1993, the NHL got its first ever commissioner, replacing the presidential role, as Gary Bettman took this position. This helped the owners and the NHLPA, as the original president of the NHL had almost all the financial and on-ice power. Now, the NHL commissioner has less power, but speaks on behalf of the players and owners coming together to make an agreement. He is also the spokesperson for the league and is a big reason why the NHL expanded into markets not presumably suitable for hockey. An example of this is Arizona, Vegas, and Dallas.
In 1993, the Montreal Canadiens, which is the NHL's oldest franchise, fittingly won the Stanley Cup in its 100th season. This is the last time a Canadian team has won the Stanley Cup, starting what still exists today as the Canadian Stanley Cup drought.
In 1995, a dispute between the NHLPA and the NHL Board of Governors came to their first ever major disagreement. The owners wanted to control salary growth and insisted on a salary cap, instead of unlimited pay, which Major League Baseball practices. As a result, the NHL shortened the length of their season from the planned 84 games to just 48 games. This was only the first of 4 league closeouts to come.
After this lockout was settled, all went well for a while, until chaos came back a mere decade later, as the salary cap that the owners wanted, that originally didn't go through, came back as a discussion. This time raised to the next level, as the owners were not afraid to cancel a season to get what they wanted. The biggest reason why the owners were pushing for a salary cap was because players' salaries were rising quicker than the league's revenues. It became so bad that in the 2002-2003 NHL season, the league lost upwards of $300 million. They eventually resolved this conflict and came back for the 2005-2006 season with a salary cap in place and other new and exciting rules, but some dumb ones too, trapezoid rule, to try to increase offense in the game.
This wasn't the end of the NHL lockout series, as in 2012, the NHL and NHLPA had trouble agreeing on a new collective bargaining agreement, which caused the league to have to cancel half of the season. However, on the 6th of January 2013, after 16 continuous hours of bantering between both sides, the players and the owners were able to finalize a new CBA to finally conclude this lockout. The season began 13 days later on the 19th of January of that year, and Gary Bettman made the announcement that hockey will continue.
In 2004, Alex Ovechkin, a Russian-born superstar, was taken with the first overall pick in the 2004 NHL entry draft in Raleigh, North Carolina. 1 year and 4 days later, the Penguins took Rimouski Oceanic phenom Sidney Crosby with the first overall pick. The debate of which of these players was the greater talent, along with many matchups in the playoffs, drove a rivalry between these two players and, more importantly, the teams that drafted them.
In 2015, Connor McDavid joined the NHL by being drafted first overall that year and quickly earned his captaincy and respect from the Edmonton Oilers organization, which he played on. A mere half-decade later, Connor McDavid is widely considered the best hockey player in the world. McDavid isn't the only star player to date, as on the goaltender side, Andrei Vasilevsky, Connor Hellebuck, Ben Bishop, Tuukka Rask, and Marc-Andre Fleury compete to be named best goalie in the league.
The NHL celebrated its 100th season in 2017-18 with the expansion of the Vegas Golden Knights, who were one of the most successful expansion teams in all of sports, making a Stanley Cup Finals appearance in their first season but losing 5 games to the Washington Capitals, which put the cup in NHL star Alex Ovechkin's hands for the first time. On the 10th of July 2020, the NHL expanded their current CBA through the season of 2025-2026. This is bright news for the league as labor peace is binding. As well as this, the NHL's current stoppage of play due to COVID-19 is coming to an end, at least for now, as the NHL is set to return on August 1st of 2020 and plans to finish out the season with the first ever 24-team playoffs. Since Edmonton and Toronto will host all of the playoff games, this will be the first time since 1925 that all of the NHL playoffs will be held in Canada, which is right where we started, in Canada, where
the award, which is given to the winner of the NHL's playoffs, which we now know as the Stanley Cup, was originally created in 1893 as a gift from Lord Stanley himself and was nicknamed Lord Stanley's Cup.
And that's a wrap for this one. Hope you enjoyed the 4th and final episode of the history of the NHL docu-series. Remember to hit that like button down below and subscribe if you haven't already. If you want to know when we post anything, remember to hit that notification bell on our homepage. Remember, our Instagram account is puck_drop_the_LHSSource. That's right, puck_drop_the_LHSSource. And our Twitter is at LHSPuckDrop. That's it for this one, guys. We hope you enjoyed this version of Puck Drop, as it was very different. It was a docu-series instead of a regular episode. Let us know what you think of this idea down below as we look and seek to do more of these. So take care. We'll see you later.